Welcome to the Indie Style with Leah DeVon show, where we celebrate successful, independent entrepreneurs in music, business, and entertainment. Get ready to meet indie entrepreneurs across the globe who are winning in their industry. I'm Leah DeVon, and this is Indie Style. Hello, and welcome to Indie Style. I am your host, Leah DeVon, and welcome to our summer series. I tell you, we have an incredible show planned for you today. You get to meet a 21-year-old jiu-jitsu champion and superstar. He's doing so many wonderful things in his sport. I cannot wait for you guys to meet Jacob, the Bull Brown. And you know what? Before you meet him, take a little peek. Hey, Jacob.
Hello, Leah. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It is a complete pleasure. Oh my gosh, I love that video. Like when I showed it
Thank
to
you.
I was like, oh,
It's quite
congratulations.
amazing.
Yes. And
Thank
you
you.
know what? And I'm gonna let everybody know, I've been following Jacob now on social media maybe like 2 years. I've been kind of watching you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a long time. I appreciate, watching, sticking around.
Well, I know there's only amazing things that will continue to come. So let's kind of
Sure.
let's introduce everybody to Jacob Brown. So tell everybody, what led your parents. I understand that your parents led you into jiu-jitsu, and how did that come about?
So it all started, I was about 6 years old when I first started jiu-jitsu, and the way I got into it was, of course, I was bullied at that age, at the age of 6 years old, and I just got cornered up by these two kids, getting bullied, like every other bully, how they do. And I didn't know what to do. I was very confused. I was lost. I started crying, and I went back to my parents and told them what happened, and they was like, okay, we got to take you to a type of school, get some training in or whatever is out there. And so they took me to my aunt, actually, and she's a Newark police officer in Jersey. And she took me to this academy. It was a jiu-jitsu academy, and she does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And she actually introduced me into the sport. And that's kind of how I just got started. I started with her. And ever since I started training jiu-jitsu, when she brought me into it, I was just really interested in it. And I kind of just took off after that. I said to my parents, I loved it. I wanted to stay in it and to see how it goes, right? And I just got super good at it over time, and I just absolutely loved it from there.
Well, it sounds like it kind of empowered you.
It did, and it like gave me this drive to, like, I don't know, to go somewhere with it. I don't know where, but I just know I want to keep going with it.
Yeah, but it kind of blows my mind, Jacob, that like at 6 kids were bullying at like
Yeah,
6.
yeah, it's I would have never thought that would happen either. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
weird. Right?
yeah, that's crazy, but I love
Yeah,
that your parents were like, let's take you to your aunt who was like, we're gonna take care of things and get you.
yeah. And that's kind of what, like, I was really happy about. I was surprised to start off like with something I never even heard about jiu-jitsu at the time. I mean, there was like karate and there was other sports, but jiu-jitsu was like something we never even heard about. So that's what made it more exciting to do.
That's incredible. And
Yeah.
so you have been doing this sport for exactly how long? Let's see, you're 21. So you've been doing
Uh-huh.
this sport. I mean, have you stopped? Have you just continued on?
Now I've been doing it for 15 years now, so I've been doing it continuously nonstop. And the only time I have stopped was because of like some life issues or maybe some like medical problems. That would be the only reasons. But other than that, I've always stuck through it.
That's pretty incredible. And I know that you were talking a little bit, you mentioned just briefly like about your health issues, but you
Yeah,
kind of overcome some pretty serious health issues.
yeah. It,
Talk about
so
that. You don't have to talk specifics, but just kind of like I want
Mhm.
kind of understand like your determination of.
Yeah. So I mean, after like going through a lot of stages of jiu-jitsu when it came to all the hard work and really like putting myself through a lot of rigorous training, I went through like this really big staph infection, and it was called MRSA. And that was like super like life threatening to me. From what the doctor was telling me, it could like lead up to like a heart problem, and I was going through like a bunch of stuff at once. I had a heart condition. It was like a reverse heartbeat. It was crazy, and things just started getting worse. But with MRSA, with it being the worst condition that I had, I was getting like these pus like behind my head, and it was like lesions, right? And it was just like giving me bald spots and stuff. I felt like needles, like stab pains on the back of my head, and it was just really bad. It lasted like 3 months, and I was on like heavy medication for it. And but that wasn't enough to stop me. I still said no matter what I get, no matter what happens, when I can recover, I'll still be back to training and doing what I always do. So
I
that's
love
kind of the mind.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of the mindset I've always had with me since I was young. Because jiu-jitsu, it teaches you discipline at a young age, and that's how I grew up.
Yeah, just kind of get that, not to be cliche, but kind of like that, that eye of the tiger, kind of that mentality that like you don't stop.
No, yeah, exactly.
I totally love, the whole Rocky thing. Like, dun, dun. But anyway,
Thank you.
I totally do.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this: how old were you, like when you won your first match?
My first tournament, I was 6 years old still.
Stop it! So you
Yeah,
went to it, and we're like, okay, wait, let me just go ahead and come in at 6 and start winning. Are you serious?
yeah. I won second place in my first tournament, which I was pretty satisfied. I was only like a few months into training. I was still pretty new to it, but for me to get second place, out of a lot of kids in the bracket, I was pretty happy. And my
Uh,
parents are very happy. I had like a very supportive family, supportive team. So that is also what helps majorly growing up in the sport and
yep.
any sport really. But like in jiu-jitsu, it's like when you got that support behind you, it really motivates you to keep going, especially when you're just a little kid.
Yeah, at 6,
Mhm.
it's like basically just reminding, remember to do the basic things, when you're 6 years old. But
Yeah.
that's so cool though, because I know that your parents really are incredibly supportive and
Mhm.
really helping to manage and guide your career. You are very blessed and so lucky because it's so
Thank
interesting.
you.
It's so interesting because I
Mhm.
oftentimes, like I said, I've been watching you for a while, and I love the posts. I kind of feel like I know you. Like I'm like, this is like a good
I
young
can
man,
understand
you
that.
know?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
he's
definitely, I
very good.
understand that.
And
So
so
yeah.
yeah, it's good to see that and that you have that support, with your parents behind you, keeping you very motivated. How many hours, like tell somebody like, okay, I know you've been doing this, like you said, for 15 years. Just give me an
Mhm.
example of like, what is the day in the life of Jacob? Like, what do you got to
Of
do? Like,
course.
wake up, drink eggs. What do you do?
Yeah, so I mean, since I was young, as long as I remember, I would always be up early in the morning, go for a run. I always ate good, no matter like what it was. I love having my green shakes, chicken, eggs, like a good breakfast, good lunch. I always ate good, like pretty much my whole life. I always try to stay in shape. And I'll wake up to two classes in the morning. I'll wake up around like 6 a.m. or like
Mm.
6:30 around there,
Yeah.
and first class would start at 7 a.m. and then I would have two classes, so 7 to 9 a.m. And after that, I would do my afternoon training, like strength and conditioning. And then
Right.
later, I would just take a little break because I would also have training like around nighttime. I would do like wrestling. Like wrestling would be a night class thing. And that would just be an everyday thing up until like Friday because the weekend I would have like my rest day, right? And
Hmm.
that would just be every day of my entire life for 15 years. Repetitively.
I am so in awe. Like that made me tired after you were like, okay, so I did that for so many hours. You're like, yeah, but no, that was just like my morning. That's just the morning.
Yeah.
What I do.
Yeah. And like, that's what I really love about it though, is because like I was able to, I'm happy with myself that I was able to do that for so long and not give up and like, not just like because I know a lot of people burn out by the time they kind of hit, maybe like early teen stages or a little before that. A lot of people burn out quickly. But I've always had the motivation to keep going, especially because I always talk to my parents about these things And they always like taught me how to get through certain stages or how not to feel so repetitive with the sport. That's why we go out with family, go out with friends that are good to be around. Just enjoy a good time outside, and also enjoy my training because I enjoy what I do. I love my craft, and I've always have been. And so, that's what I really love about the sport. It teaches you how to really have this good mentality and kind of like good structure growing up. So that's what I love about jiu-jitsu.
I love that. And again, you keep talking about your family, and I love that. I love that so much because I think it's so important, to have your parents that are there and supporting you and just really making sure that you stay on the right track because you're doing a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, I get to see you, like I said, I've watched some of your videos and you're on the red carpet posing, doing all these great things. And
Yeah.
it's incredible. And
Mhm.
you have won, and I don't even know if like you have sat or like you've counted, but you won some really outstanding awards. How many, like, give me a ballpark. How many medals do you think you have? 100?
Probably, yeah, like over the hundreds, of course. Maybe like over 110. Like it's up there in the hundreds for sure. It's a lot. I haven't even counted each one, but I know it's too many to count.
No, it's awesome. I think that Mikey has a video. I think it's like kind of like where you're just kind of like sitting around with just a handful. I don't think they're all your medals. I think it was just one day you
Yeah,
we
yeah, those are all my medals. Like those are all the medals I won since I was like a kid, and all the medals I won as an adult and teenager years. Like my whole life, those are all the collection of pretty much my whole life of jiu-jitsu. All the medals I still have
all the
that
medals
I
you
was a
said.
baby.
Still doing. I don't know, Mikey. Do we have that? I was so like in awe when I saw that. Let me see if she has that, and she can
Okay.
pull that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the collection.
that was the panoramic view.
Yeah.
Like, how can I go back and get every single medal? This is so amazing. It's so great.
Yeah.
What an accomplishment. Like that is so incredible what you've done with your art.
Thank
And
you.
how far that you have come. And also, okay, and help me again. Sometimes if I ask a question, I'm going to say, okay, talk to me like I'm like 5. I
Okay.
understand. I've seen jujitsu. So tell
Mhm.
me, is that wrestling? Is that a different form of wrestling? Because I know you also do judo. You
Yeah,
do judo.
so
Judo.
I can explain it like with jiu-jitsu, it's submission grappling. So it's like a different form of like people can say it's like similar to wrestling, but with a gi on, we call it submission. Submission wrestling basically is kind of like similar to wrestling, but with the gi on, you just go straight for submissions. Like anything with a collar, like with clothes, I can use my jacket like to submit somebody. If they got a jacket, I just do use their clothes basically. But with the gi on, it's more like it's easier, it's more professional. That's
Mhm.
basically kind of how it is. And judo, I mean, jiu-jitsu came from judo originally because judo is the stand-up sport. So it's like takedowns only. Well, at least for like the younger generation. But once you hit like adult class and stuff, judo was more like jiu-jitsu. Because if you're like a black belt or if you're in the high ranks in judo, then it would be like takedowns to submissions, very similar to jiu-jitsu. But like
Right.
that's how jiu-jitsu is similar, very similar to judo. And it started off with Japanese jiu-jitsu, and then Brazilian jiu-jitsu came after. Which
Right.
Japanese jiu-jitsu has striking it, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu does not. It's just grappling. If that
So
like kind of makes sense.
as and I'm thought you did very good explaining. You could like do a little master class because I'm totally paying attention. So so I mean, have you ever gotten really hurt in any of your matches, or you
I
just win them
I
all?
never got
You just
like
win them
a
all.
yeah. I mean, I never got like a major injury. Nothing, no broken bones. I'm glad I didn't break anything. I'm still in good condition. Maybe like little fractures, here and there. But other than that, I've been pretty strong throughout my years. No cauliflower. Still got great ears. So
I
I
love.
always try to take care of myself.
So is this a year-round sport, or do you what? How do your matches go?
Yeah, it's a year-round sport, and as far as matches go, I mean, I compete as much as I can. Like whatever tournaments or even locals or major tournaments, I always compete what's coming, every month. So I got another tournament coming this weekend, which is going to be in Norwalk. That's going to be the NABJJF tournament. So you guys can stay tuned for that coming. That's going to be
Mm-hmm.
exciting. And yeah, as far as for the future, there's a lot of work I got going on, especially when it comes to like on another topic. As you guys know, I do film. I've been into acting a lot, and I've just been working on that as well as training. So I'm just kind of putting everything together and modeling as well.
I love that. I love that you are branching out and that you are doing
Yeah,
film.
that
I love
yeah.
that picture. That is a
Thank
really good
you.
picture. I mean, such a young man, but they really, I feel like, kind of captured the like, okay, don't mess with
Yeah,
me. Okay? I
I've
look
been
picture, but I can still look mean. Do not mess with me.
yeah. So
I
like
think
what
that.
acting?
How did you
Sorry.
get into the acting? Like, how? Tell me a little bit about how that. Like, did you
Mhm.
started
So I
auditioning
mean,
or what?
no, I never really took an audition. It was more like, I think people just saw my skills, and I had, someone reach out to me, and they just like they see my work throughout the years, and I was just kind of reached out to, and I was like, okay, I got an offer to be part of this movie or a little film. I did two short films. One was called Lake Abyss, and the second one is called Pitched Out. Lake Abyss is more of like a short horror film. It's like completely different from what I do, but it's still a very
Yeah.
fun project to do. And the second one, I like that one a lot too, because that one has like action and like fighting. I use my like jiu-jitsu skills in there, so you'll see like my jiu-jitsu within that film. It's going to be pretty awesome. And that's still being worked on. That'll be dropping soon. And yeah, I'm just working on those and more modeling. So I like to throw everything in the mix. Like I'm doing like three different things, but jiu-jitsu is always going to be my number one. I still got to get my black belt. I want to open up my own academy soon in the future.
Oh, I love
So
that. I love that.
yeah, yeah,
Yay!
get back to the jiu-jitsu community. So that's the goal there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So
Thank you.
basically, you're going to continue doing your art.
Yeah,
You're going to do the modeling. You're going to continue to do the acting. And I know you've got some really cool things, but we're not going to talk about that right now because we're not going to spill the tea. People have to just kind of tune in and follow everything that you're doing on social media to see all the other things that you're doing. So
yeah.
let me ask you this. So if there were like, I don't know, like an up and coming little nugget that was like, okay, let's say one of your students, we're going to like look into the future, and
Okay.
what do you tell those little kids, that want to do what you have done? If you were going to give them like 2 tips for success, like what are
Mhm.
2 for success that you tell like a little you?
Yeah, I would like if I was to start anybody, any like young generations, I would let them know like, hey, if you have a craft and there's something you want to do, it could be any sport, jiu-jitsu or anything, you're looking forward to do growing up and you want to stay consistent. I would say like stick to your craft, like no matter really what happens, like even in your ups and downs, there should be nothing to stop you. Like if there's nothing like that's gonna put you out of injury for a year, like it shouldn't be anything. There's really no excuse for you to stop your craft unless you just don't feel like that's not your craft. If there's something you want to do, stick with it, drive with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've made the choice that when I joined jiu-jitsu when I was young, I knew from like 6 years old. It's kind of crazy because I was so young to know that I wanted to stay in it. Because like after years went by, I just like I love the sport. And if you don't love what you do, don't stick to it. But if you love it and you have a craft for it, just stick with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and you got supportive parents and you got everybody there on your back to help you with that. It's you have more than enough.
I love that your passion has a purpose, if that makes any sense. I mean, I think that's so,
Yeah,
I think that's so incredibly awesome.
thank
And
you.
you're just a really good person. And I've always really believed in every fiber of my being that when you are a good person, good things will come back to you. And so as you are continuing to journey out into all
Thank
of
you.
what you're doing, I think because of the kind of person you are, more of those opportunities will continue to come your way and you will just continue to flourish and be amazing like you are. And
Thank
again,
you.
I get excited because I watch, um, your different posts as much as I can. And I'm just really proud of you. It's like, it's so funny. I'm like, you know, talking to you for the first time, but I've been watching you and I'm like, go Jacob, go Jacob. But I like how you do things. You always have a lot of style and class. You don't present yourself in a way that is boastful or ever not grateful. I don't even know, but I can feel
Yeah.
that kind of watching who you are. So you just continue. Amazing things are going to come your way. People say I have like this. I'm so good at figuring this stuff out. But
Uh-huh.
if somebody wanted to kind of like learn a little bit more about you, or if somebody wanted to find you on social media, like what would they need to do? How would they
Of
find you?
course. Well, you guys can find me when I'm mainly on Instagram at Jacob the Bull Brown. You could always find me there. Same thing goes for Twitter or X, we call it now, or YouTube. You could always find me, same name, Jacob the Bull Brown, and yeah, you can find me there on Facebook as well.
Okay, and before I let you go, I want you to tell me if you could think of something that is uh like your wow so far of just like everything you've done. And when you think of this particular thing, it kind of makes you smile and it's like your wow moment or something you're really proud
That my biggest like wow moment. Oh man, I had so many good ones. But I could say like in my like my okay, the more recent one, the one I just did not too long ago was Subversive. That was like my biggest wow moment because I like wowed the crowd and everybody just went like crazy. I had a big team behind me that was very supportive and everybody was there and it was the one you saw in the little trailer. That was the one. So that was
of. I love it.
yeah, that was the biggest one for me.
Okay. Well, there's going to be many more, but I love it because you just totally opened up and just smile. That's so awesome. Like when people kind of
Yeah.
like know who you are after all this hard work and like you kind of start getting your flowers, as they say, as you're,
Yeah. And I'm
yeah.
very humble and appreciative for everybody that's here supporting me, all the fans that continue to support me on the page and always watch me through my whole career growing up. So you guys are gonna see a lot more coming from me. You're gonna see me in more acting and more modeling. So yeah, stay tuned for everything. Thank you.
Awesome. You are most welcome. And Jacob, it was such a complete pleasure interviewing you today. I cannot wait to continue to watch what you're doing. And Mikey, just one more time. Also your website, if she'll put up, what is your website again? Jacob,
Oh
what's your
yeah,
web?
it's the website is called servomedia.com/ Jacob the Bull Brown. Uh, and you'll it's Servo Media, but you can see it on the page, the whole Jacob the Bull Brown layout website.
Okay. Love the bull. I'm like,
Yeah,
but
thank
anyway,
you.
listen. Thank you so much for coming on my show. And I wish you only continued success and blessings. And next time I come out to the West Coast, you'll have to give me a jujitsu lesson.
Good to yeah, of course, anytime.
Okay. I think Jacob there he is. Okay, he is so special and so incredibly awesome. And I tell you, he's going to continue to do so many wonderful things. So you guys continue to watch the amazing Jacob, the Bull Brown. And I hope you guys are enjoying the beginning of our summer series. And I want you to stay tuned for our Indie Spotlight Artist of the Week. And until next time, I am Leah DeVon. You be well.